Part 2, I'll be going over a lot of the functions of this incredible playset. First, I'm going to start with the box. Now, I actually have the original box for this, which is super cool, but it's in pretty bad condition. It's kind of crumpled and everything. So, in order to keep the shape of the box, I created this almost like a Russian doll assembly. It's a huge box that the Flagg box fits into, and then there's a smaller box that goes inside the Flagg box, and they all slide in together, and it will help keep the shape and the form of the USS Flagg box. Alright, I think that I've used up my whole box vocabulary for the next couple of years. So I won't go into super detail of all of the box, but I will give you a 360 of the cool artwork. Also, a few facts about this playset is that it came out in 1986, so I was probably around 5 years old when this came out. So this was $110 at the time, which I think was pretty pricey, I guess, or for that time. And I mean, the size of it, I can't imagine that the toy store would have a lot of retail space for this. It's so huge. They probably just left it on a giant pallet for all I know. And the barcode on the back was worth 100 Joe points. But you can see some slick little devil took that out. Probably back in the day. Son of a bitch. On this part, they use a Gung Ho version 1 and multiple shipwrecks, which fit perfectly for the theme of this playset. So here's the Flagg fully assembled once again. The first review was done about a year ago, and I disassembled it since then, and now I put it back together for around Christmas time. I don't think I said where I got this from on the first video, but I found it on eBay, and it was a local pickup in Pennsylvania, near Philadelphia, in Bucks County. The funny thing about that is, if anybody's seen a series called The Goldbergs on ABC, it takes place in the 1980s, and he has one of these in one of the episodes in his room, and there's a part of it outside. But the thing that's funny about it is that show takes place in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. However, it's probably filmed in California, but it's still pretty cool. And I like knowing the lineage of this actual aircraft carrier is from Pennsylvania. So it was probably bought in Pennsylvania, and it's still staying in Pennsylvania. So keeping in the theme with Pennsylvania, our own Philadelphia shipyard, I seen it on on Google Maps that there is a actual aircraft carrier in our dock, and its number is 67. How cool is that? So right up the street there is an honest to God aircraft carrier. I'm gonna have to check that out one day. Let me bring up the bottom part of this first. It is a it has a structure of these kind of buttresses, these plastic ones, and they go through the whole undercarriage here, except there's this long piece of plastic. It's almost like house siding that covers up the hollowness, and you can see the theme of those plastic braces all the way down. Here's the other side, and that's actually really cool to play down there with a couple figures. I mean, it gives you a whole other environment, if you notice. This toy takes up a lot of real estate, and it's not for, you have to have the space for this, or I mean, you're just going to be stepping over it constantly, and there's no way to really move it. You can slide it a little bit on a floor if you do it slowly and your flag isn't super brittle, but if you want, I found these things help a lot. They are like for furniture sliding, and the plastic side is for the carpet, and it slides really good. So if you get enough of these, I found these at a discount store at a farmer's market, and they were cheap. You get enough of those, put them under the load bearing parts, and you'll be able to push this on a carpet at least. So this accommodates the 3 3/4 inch figures. So 3 3/4 inch is 1/18 scale. Now, for the first bummer of this video, I do not have the original figure that came with this. Sorry about that. So I have a stand-in. It was very nice of him to do this video. Thank you, Gung Ho. He will be giving the tour today, and he is the version 3 of Gung Ho, which is pretty appropriate. However, I believe that Gung Ho version 2 is the perfect captain for this ship. I mean, he looks brilliant, even better than the original. But I'm not knocking the original, I'm just, you know, that's constructive criticism there. The funny thing is, I'm out of breath walking around this, and when it comes to 1/18 scale, I thought it was funny because on the Wikipedia page for the USS Flagg, there is a part here that says, if this is really accurate to scale, it would have to be 65 feet long and 13 feet wide to be in scale with those figures. How cool is that? I mean, somebody out there, please build a full-scale replica. I mean, that would just blow everybody away. And the USS Flagg is actually modeled after this. The USS Nimitz. I hope I'm saying that right. Now the structure here is 3 stories tall, and from this side has 2 functioning doors, portholes so the crew can see out of, 2 railings, ladder that goes down to this level. The outside of the bridge from here. There's decals of how many Cobra planes they took down. I guess they're Rattlers. Decals kind of faded there. Same for that one. It's kind of getting crinkly. Honor, duty, courage. Well said. There's tons of satellite and radar. This whole part slides right onto the deck, but it's very fragile, so I just slightly put on there little pressure as possible. Now for the other side, we got the top, which is very detailed. There's steps here to go to the top. This part back here is pretty cool. You can take it off, and I found you can actually like hide a figure in there if you wanted to, just for a novelty if you wanted to. Look at those incredible little stickers and the detail. There's a way to get to the roof from this side with this ladder, and then the ladder from the other side. Now the main turret up here is 360 degrees and has 6, what do they call this? I think they're Patriot missiles. Let me see. Sphinx. Okay, well, Sphinx. You know what? I'm gonna say they're Patriot missiles because I love that trading card series, Desert Storm. This is the inside view of the bridge. There's the front. And there's a lot of detail in there. The front console. The steering wheel goes completely around. It's a little bent. And there's also, I didn't mention it, but there's a little crack right there in the second level banister. Now, moving along, behind the bridge, there is the radar room. There's the opening door. Close it up. It has a little tabs you can pull on to open and close it. There's a chair there, so somebody can watch the radar. Behind the radar is a little storage area. You can see up into the third level almost. There's a lot of empty space there, so you could probably easily get some foam board and modify that and make a little extra place. This is Deep Six. His suit, I just popped his head off so it looks like an extra diving suit. If you want to check out my review on Deep Six, I actually review him in my aquarium upstairs, and a link's in the description below if you want to check that out. Let's go down the ladder, and you go into another just kind of like storage or empty room. Move along, and there is a room where the ammunition would go, so all of your missiles and everything can fit right in there. Then let's go through the doorway. Just gonna put my phone through it. And at the bottom here, there's a ladder that goes up to the bridge. That's that hole there. And this is, I'm gonna say, this is probably the social media room. I mean, another radar room or interrogation room. You know what? Make it whatever you want, actually. Now we're going to go under the bridge in the front, and now there's the rescue boat or evacuation ship. It's actually a cool function. You press this down and it will go these tabs out, and the ship will drop down into the ocean. You know what? Let me see if this actually floats. I'm curious about this. Let me see if it's buoyant. I'm gonna put Gung Ho in here. I don't know where they sit, really. And I'm gonna put them in the aquarium upstairs and see if it floats. Alright, let's see if this floats in the G.I. Joe fish tank. Oh. Wow, it does. Look at that. Check that out. So it does float. Look at that. No water in there so far. So the lifeboat actually works. Oh, a snail got in there. How the hell did a snail get in there so quick? Check this out. Look at this. He's floating along. Right over Jaws. fish. He's right over the Barracuda. Now, I have a review on, well, this is actually the Man of War, and the Barracuda is the version 1. If you want to check that review, I did. Look in the description below, and you'll see that review also. Now, going this way, you could use the bottom structure as another playset almost, like another undercarriage if you wanted to. This notch right here is actually for the microphone, but if you remember from part 1, my friend John is still working on getting it fixed. Moving over now, we have the crane. The crane is another, it would go 360 if the structure wasn't in the way. It has a removable compartment with the engine. It's just a spool of string that lowers. Give it some slack. Then you can pull it. Or you could actually just pull it this way if you wanted to. That way you could load materials into another ship. Actually, for a more adult version, you could do other things that the crane will help you with. And to the corner of the ship, we have these huge cannons. Now, there is one here, one on this side, which is really underneath. One at the front. But on this side, there is a satellite dish with a staircase that goes up to the deck. Now, getting back to this particular cannon, and I think it's the same for the other two, is that the barrel sometimes goes all the way down. You notice that? And it's stuck. So you gotta use, I got these tweezers. Man, I would hate to do this during a firefight with Cobra. You stick your tweezers in there. Come on. And you pull out the cannon if you're having trouble with it. See that? And the very stern, is this, I think this is called the stern of the ship. I'm trying to use some nautical terms here. There is a area, like almost like a, it's almost like a terrace type of area. There's another satellite dish. There's a railing here, but it's broke right there in the corner. It's such a fragile piece. This is where the Joes can go to take a nice little break, maybe get a cigarette, something to drink. Cool little chill spot. Now that we know the boat floats, let's see out of my planes, which one should I choose? Wow, it's a huge variety here. Man, whoever lives here is definitely a hoarder. Let's wait, I think I saw something back here. Aha. This is the 30th anniversary edition of the G.I. Joe Sky Striker. Let it come in for a landing. Whoa, I almost killed myself there. Alright, let me show you some of the features of this. So Captain Ace is in his Sky Striker, and this is a part that you actually fasten to the rear of the jet, and when it comes in for a landing, it'll catch this line to slow the plane down. I saved the box of the 30th year anniversary Sky Striker, and check this out. Look, does anybody see anything familiar? It is it looks like a real replica I mean, this looks like it's imposed of the USS Flagg in the background. However, everything's backwards. The blast shield isn't right next to the numbers. It's actually there. And even the bridge, you can see, it looks like foam cutouts. However, it makes you realize or wonder, were they going to come out for 30-year anniversary of the USS Flagg? And if so, how come they didn't? And I'm sure it's probably cost, because it would have cost a fortune, and it probably wouldn't have been as cool. So you can see how the runway here is for landings, but when the jet wants to take off, it will pull up here on the bow of the ship, and this blast shield will pop up, thrusting off of it. Nice detail, by the way, the hydraulics, and taking off. For the final part of the video is the elevator platform. Now on the box over there, they have the illustration of the fuel and towing vehicle on here, because it's not that big for certain vehicles. However, I know it's not from the same generation of Joes. This is the 90s. But I'm going to put my Barracuda on there because I think it fits well, the size, and appropriately it's going to drop it into the water. The elevator is a completely manual system. I actually like it because it uses a notch work to slide down. Just like the notches I use in my cardboard projects. Like, this is a helicopter, a Huey helicopter. This is a G.I. Joe scale. I have plans on how to make this helicopter. It's very easy. The propeller spins and coat hanger. So if you like that, I can make a video on it. Just write in the comments if you want to see a video about how to make one of those. Super cheap, and it's awesome for your Joes. So you pull out first, and then down. And you can see it slides in here, slides in the corners, and then there's a little tongue peg that fits in there. And then you can shove off your Barracuda into the sea. So thanks for watching part 2 of my USS Flagg review. I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, check out the other videos on my channel with G.I. Joes. Now I have to go through the huge task of putting this back into its box. But it's so worth it. So, adios for now. And have a good night.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.